The things you can see only when you slow down. Hyman Sunim. How to be calm in a busy world. What's it about? The things you can see only when you slow down. 2012 explains how our fast paced world can easily become overwhelming. Even minor setbacks can seem catastrophic, making the bigger problems of all the more devastating. By practicing mindfulness and compassion with ourselves and others, we allow ourselves the space necessary to slow down, breathe, and discover genuine, lasting happiness. Who's it for? Anyone feeling overwhelmed by work, family, relationship, or life in general. Busy professionals who need to be reminded to take time off. Everyone seeking balance in the hectic, tumultuous times. About the author, Hemant Sunim is one of the most influential Zen Buddhist teachers and writers in the world. He has over 1 million followers on Twitter and Facebook. His books, including Love for Imperfect Things, have been translated into more than 30 languages and sold over 4 million copies worldwide. What's in it for me? Learn inspiring life lessons from one of the world's most popular Buddhist meditation teachers. We live in incredibly hectic times. Between work, family, friends, and the day to day drama that surrounds us, it's all too easy to allow life to feel overwhelming. The last time you take a moment to focus completely on yourself? Too often we allow outside forces to take control, but it isn't really the world that's moving too fast. It's our minds. Our perception of the world governs how we see it. So, if we can slow our minds down and allow ourselves the space to breathe, we'll see the world slows down right along with it. When that happens, we can see the problems that once threatened to overwhelm us don't seem quite as huge. In these blinks, we will discover tips for dealing with self esteem, relationships, and your career. We'll cultivate such qualities as awareness, humility, trust, and confidence. There are many paths to enlightenment, but each of them begins in the same place, your mind. In these blinks, you will discover why your friendships are like roaring fires, how to calm a mind racing with negative thoughts, and just how much other people think about you. When your mind rests, the world rests. Have you ever become so engrossed in a project that everything else ceases to exist? The rest of the world hasn't gone away, of course, but our perspective has focused with such clarity that the project in front of us feels like the entire universe. This, for Buddhists, is just one example of how much our mind controls the world around us. Our reality consists only of what our mind chooses to focus on at that moment. It isn't the situation we find ourselves in that's making us happy or unhappy, anxious or relaxed. It's our perspective on the situation that's creating those feelings. The key message here is when your mind rests, the world rests. More often than not, it's our perception of things that happened in the past or things that may happen in the future that drives negative thoughts and emotions. But we can't control or change the past or the future, so why worry about them? Why allow our perception of them to make us unhappy? The only thing we can control is what's happening right now. So release those thoughts of the past and future and allow our waves of emotion to flow freely. They'll heal themselves and disappear in due course. Focusing on the present means practicing awareness. If you are feeling stressed, be aware of that stress. If you are feeling angry, be aware of your anger. It doesn't do any good to bury it. Awareness brings clarity and purity back into our lives. Negative emotions are temporary. They dissipate quickly once we shine the light of awareness on them. An excellent way to manage your stress level is to simply make a list of everything in your life that's causing you anxiety. Write down everything you need to get done, from one minor everyday chores like washing the dishes to bigger goals like changing your career. Writing them down removes them from your mind and contains all of your worries on a single sheet of paper. Once you have written them down, go to bed and get a good night's sleep. Tomorrow you can begin to tackle them one by one. Self awareness must come from within. Reframing our perception of the world to focus on the here and now is the first step on the journey toward enlightenment. You are not your feelings. It isn't easy to be aware of our emotions, especially the negative ones. When we feel them churn up, we want to control them, tamp them back down, and make them go away. This is wrong approach. We need to be aware of them, befriend them, allow them to flow naturally through us. However, we cannot allow them to define us. The key message here is you are not your feelings. Imagine a fish tank with a layer of mud at the bottom. If you agitate the water, the mud churns up and swirls around. To get the mud to settle, do you plunge your hands into the water and try to push it back down to the bottom of the tank? Of course not. Left alone, the mud will settle back on the bottom where it belongs, all on its own. Negative emotions are the mud in your mind. They have many names: anger, disappointment, jealousy, hatred. But these are just words and they aren't very helpful. Instead of focusing on the labels, focus on the energy that's behind those emotions and try to figure out where it's coming from. In time, that energy changes. It ebbs and flows until sooner or later it is replaced by something else. Don't try to assign it a value. Just simply be aware of the energy without any judgment. When you are feeling low, take just 3 minutes to sit quietly with your feelings. Simply observe them without trying to change them or assign a value to them. You'll soon feel the energy behind those feelings changing. You can't control your feelings anymore than you can control the weather. Even the worst storm eventually passes. In the same way, you are not defined by your feelings any more than the sky is defined by a thunderstorm. You are the conscious being who is aware of these emotions, who sees them approach and inevitably disappear. Once we see how our emotional energy changes, we can realize that change is inevitable in all things. Just think about all of the things you cared about the most when you were a child. Now think about what you care about today. We change without even realizing it. Change is neither good nor bad, it just is. Unfortunately, most people live their lives resisting change and the way things are. When we resist, we are constantly trying to adjust ourselves to fit the world. But if we simply accept the way things are, we can relax. Let the world change. You can't stop it, you can only be a part of it. Choose happiness, not success. No matter what we do for a living, we all want to be a success. But what exactly does success mean? Are we pursuing money, power, a bigger office, or is your ultimate goal something that lasts longer but is more intangible? The key message here is choose happiness, not success. Chasing success often looks like this. Imagine you have been hired at a job you really love. You are passionate about the work and want to impress your bosses and colleagues. So you go all in, working all hours, taking every chance to display how much you care. It's only natural, but it comes with problems. Sometimes our passion gets in the way of doing the work well. This is especially true if you are not taking into account the needs of others. For example, imagine you are a brand new teacher on the first day of class. You have been working toward this for years and you are eager to impart everything you have learned to your students. So you create a syllabus that includes as much material as you can possibly cover, scheduling what you believe will be challenging projects, stimulating reading material, and outside fieldwork. But after about 6 weeks, you notice that your students are lagging behind. Assignments are turned in late, and no one is participating in the extra work outside of class at all. You have failed to take into account that this is just one class of many for your students. Your passion is not their passion, not yet anyway. In other words, your eagerness does not necessarily equal effectiveness, and if we are not effective in our jobs, we can't be happy. We must combine both passion and wisdom to work effectively with others. So, chasing success can bring problems. It's also never ending. Whenever we chase success, we are using an arbitrary benchmark that was handed to us by someone else. If we achieve it, what happens next? There's always another goal to chase on the horizon. Happiness, on the other hand, is a goal we define ourselves. Only you can decide what makes you truly happy. And when you receive enjoyment from your work, other people see it. Would you rather work with someone who enjoys what they do or with someone who seems miserable whether or not they get the job done? At the end of the day, don't worry about what the world says you should do to be happy. No one can define that but you. Stay true to yourselves, figure out what you really want out of life, and pursue it. Love without ego and selfishness. Our pursuit of happiness should never place wealth and physical things ahead of forging meaningful, long lasting relationships with our families, our friends, and our partners. Unfortunately, it isn't always easy to maintain harmony in our relationships. The key message here is love without ego and selfishness. So, how do we do that? Here are some tips starting with how we can communicate our true feelings. To many of us, fall into the trap of saying things we don't really mean. Politicians do this all the time. They say whatever sounds good in an effort to get people to like them. When we do that, we are speaking from the head, not the heart. When we speak from the heart, we speak with words that are simple and pure, as long as our hearts are guided by equality, humility, and honesty. Because our message is simple, there's no fear that we will be misunderstood. Next, how do you deal with people with whom you had much rather not have to deal? When we are confronted by someone we dislike, we have a tendency to set up the challenge and push back. Why do we do this? We are only extending the amount of time we have to spend with the disagreeable person. Instead, take a deep breath, wait 30 seconds, and simply walk away. From time to time, even our dearest friends will rub us the wrong way. A healthy relationship is like a roaring campfire. It provides heat and light even on the darkest night. But if we sit too close to it for too long, we will get uncomfortable and maybe even burn. After we step away for a while, we will welcome the fire's warmth. In other words, every relationship requires some space if we are to reap its full benefits. Finally, how do we deal with relationships that end? It's always painful when a relationship ends. The best thing we can do is be aware of our feelings of hurt and anger. Then, when we are ready, forgive the other person and let them go. You are not doing this for them, you are doing it for yourself. So you can be free and go on with your life. Forgiveness requires absolute humility and empathy. Swallowing your pride is never easy, but it is necessary in order to let go of the negative energy before it consumes you. Give your life purpose by living with confidence and conviction. We all want to give our lives meaning, but too often we look outside ourselves for satisfaction. We look to our careers or our relationship with others. But real fulfillment comes from within. Real fulfillment requires strength, courage, and self awareness. The key message here is give your life purpose by living with confidence and conviction. When you reflect on your life, it's natural to focus solely on the highs and the lows. But think about what you did over the last week. Perhaps you had a major victory or a catastrophic loss, but you also waited in line at the store, you commuted back and forth to work, you washed the dishes, and brushed your teeth. The point is that there are far more ordinary hours in a day than extraordinary ones. Real lasting happiness requires us to look for joy in these mundane everyday activities. We can begin to find these moments of joy if we take ownership of everything we do. If you see litter, pick it up. If someone asks you for your opinion, give it honestly. Taking ownership of these small moments adds to our feeling of importance and self worth. Also, stop caring what other people think. We spend too much time worrying about this. This fear prevents us from living with conviction and taking ownership of our lives. First off, you need to realize that people are not as interested in you as you think. Can you remember what your best friend wore last week, or exactly what your spouse ordered the last time you went out to dinner? We think about other people all the time, but it's usually just for a few minutes, and then our minds move on to something else. Second, one of the most liberating gifts you can give yourself is the realization that not everyone has to like you. If you're not being honest with yourself, you realize there are certain people that you simply don't get along with, whether it's a colleague, a family member, or even a public figure. And that's perfectly fine. You can't control what other people think about you. Let them have their opinion and move on. Once we stop worrying about whether other people think, we can look within ourselves and ask what we really want. Remember to find joy in the steps we take to achieve our goals, not only in the end results. And when you meet someone pursuing their dreams, treat them as you would hope to treated yourselves. Just a simple act of encouragement, kindness, and hope can change someone's life forever. Final summary: the key message in these blink is the demands of the modern world don't have to overwhelm us. Through mindfulness and self awareness, we can alter our perspective and recognize that we are just one small part of a much bigger universe. Delight in your corner of that universe, take ownership of it, and remember that long term happiness is more important and more attainable than immediate success. Actionable advice: find your calling. If your jobs makes you unhappy, it's possible that you just haven't found the right path. Expose yourself to as many different experiences as possible, whether it's by volunteering in different projects or organizations or simply by reading. By cultivating new relationship, you will gain additional self-awareness of your strength, your interest, and the possible that exist for you.